Hey team, hope you're all doing well. So today's video I want to go over what heart rate zone should I be in. Okay, a lot of athletes are asking this. I was recently asked this by one of the viewers of the channel. Matthew Painter is his name. He says, can you do a video on your thoughts of zone 2 and 3 training? I hear so much that zone 3 or below should be 80% of your weekly mileage. Okay, so the zones in terms of heart rate monitor training, zone 1 is 50 to 60% of your max heart rate, and most of the time that's just like easy recovery or warm up when you're just warming up, just jogging light, very easy. Zone 2 is 60 to 70% of your max heart rate, and that's usually base fitness. It's running running at a comfortable pace, but not so fast that you're building up so much lactic acid that you can't clear it. Okay, zone 3, which is what he was mentioning, he was saying that zone 3, he's been hearing that athletes should run around 80% of their weekly mileage around zone 3, and that's 70 to 80%. Okay, that's your aerobic endurance, running at close to or right around your anaerobic threshold. It's running slower than tempo pace, but not quite as aggressive. So your tempo pace is it's going to be anywhere from 80 to 90% of your max heart rate. That's your anaerobic capacity training. That's zone 4. And then zone 5 is 90 to 100% of your max heart rate. And that, of course, is VO2 max training. Okay, that's where you're running at such aggressive efforts that you can't clear lactic acid faster than it's building up. So naturally, we have to take small amounts of rest recoveries in between those particular intervals because we're building up so much lactic acid that we can't clear it faster than it's building up. My answer to you, Matthew, is yeah, I do tend to agree that, and it's going to be dependent on the fitness level of the athlete as well. But if you are in great shape and you're preparing for a goal, like you want to set a new personal best in your race and you truly want to improve your body's lactate tolerance, you do need to be spending a higher percentage of your weekly volume training at that zone 3 effort. Okay, 80% of your weekly volume at zone 3, that's pretty aggressive, and like I said, every athlete's different. I definitely think athletes that are in their early stages of their buildup should really be focusing on zone 1 and zone 2, nice and relaxed, easy jogging, relaxed running, with strides, 5 to 6 100-meter strides done twice per week during your 4 to 8 week aerobic base building build-up, where you're just running easy, relaxed mileage. But as you get fitter, as you get in more race-specific training, you do I would recommend you do start spending a higher percentage, and 80% is right around where I would be focusing on, and this is me personally, over the years as I trained, I'd say around 80% of my weekly volume was at around zone 3, or aerobic endurance effort, 70 to 80% of max heart rate. And about 10% of that was spent around zone 4 and zone 5, in between those. Okay, I was really focusing on doing tempo runs where you're running at your lactate threshold, where you're running at that point where lactic acid starts to build up. And like I talk about in other videos, if you're trying to drop significant time off your current personal best, whether it's a 10-mile time, a 5-mile time, 8K, 10K, you have to spend a higher percentage of your weekly volume at a higher intensity. Okay, the world's best middle to long distance runners are running anywhere from 35 to 40% of their weekly volume at their anaerobic threshold pace or faster. Okay, so a lot of athletes see these Kenyans and see these Ethiopians and Moroccans and these other top Americans or Canadians, other athletes from around the world, and they think it's just genetics. Okay, it's not just genetics. Okay, I've lived and trained with world-class Kenyans, world-class Ethiopians. I've outrun them as well. Okay, I've been beaten by them as well. Okay, what makes them so good is because they're spending a very high percentage of their weekly volume at very high quality, highly intense efforts. Okay, they're not just jogging long, slow, easy, long runs every single weekend. The majority of their weekly volume is spent at a very high intensity in terms of their heart rate. Okay, so I think it really comes down to the maturity level of the athlete, um, and not focusing on training at zone 3, 4, and 5 until you first built that strong foundation of easy aerobic mileage. You're really focusing on zone 2 in that stage. Zone 1 again is warm up pace, very relaxed. Zone 2 is slightly faster. Zone 2 is again, you're running around 60 to 70% of your max heart rate. That's base fitness training. Okay, that's running very relaxed. You can run at zone 2 for several minutes to several hours. Okay, it's much more demanding both mentally and physically on the athlete once you get into training at zone 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so a wrap up is zone 1, 50 to 60%. That's warm up recovery effort. Zone 2, 60 to 70% of your max heart rate. Base fitness training, very relaxed. Zone 3, aerobic endurance. You're running 70 to 80% of your max heart rate. So that's quality running. Okay, it's not just conversation pace. Okay, you can still have a conversation with it, but you're going to be labored a little bit. Okay, zone 4 is 80 to 90% of your max heart rate. Your anaerobic capacity. Okay, that's training at more toward your lactate tolerance, your anaerobic threshold, running at the point where lactic acid starts to build up at a higher level. And that's why it's so important that you guys and gals really focus on lengthening the duration of your tempo runs. Okay, even if you're training for an 800 or say a mile or a 2 mile, I would work to get that tempo run out to around 3 to 4 miles if you're training for the shorter races. If you're training for 10K, 10 mile, 15K, 20K out to the marathon, I would focus on getting your running at zone 4 or running at 80 to 90% of your max heart rate. Focus on getting that tempo run out to around 7 to 12 miles in length. Okay, and you have to work your way up to that. Okay, you don't focus on doing 7 to 12 mile tempo runs in the first few weeks of your buildup. Okay, it's going to be very hard in the early stages when you're not very anaerobically fit to even do a 2 to 3 mile tempo run. So allow your body to time 3 to 4 weeks for your body to adapt to running 2 to 3 mile tempo runs, and then start focusing on lengthening the duration as you get fitter. Okay, but I think 80% at zone 3, I think that is more geared toward the athlete that is in phenomenal anaerobic shape as well as aerobic shape. They've spent sufficient time running easy aerobic mileage, zone 1 to zone 2, for 4 to 8 weeks. Then start focusing on training at 80% at zone 3 throughout your week. Okay, but again, you have to train well below goal race pace as well. So doing that VO2 max workout per week, running at zone 5 is absolutely vital if you want to drop significant time off of your current personal best, whether it's a 20-minute 5K you're currently at and you're trying to run 18 minutes, or you're currently at 4 hours and 20 minutes for the marathon and you're trying to break 4 hours. You have to spend some time during your week. It might be 10 to 15% of your weekly volume training at paces that are much, much faster, 30 seconds to 40 seconds faster than your goal race pace or quicker. Okay. And focusing on, like I said, making sure that you're spending a longer duration training in zone 4. Okay. Doing that tempo run at zone 4 effort, 80 to 90% of your max heart rate. And in the heart rate zones too, make sure also as you're training with your heart rate monitor, to focus on, if it's hot out, your heart rate is obviously going to go much higher. So make sure that you adjust for that. Okay, if it's extremely hot out, get on a treadmill and do your tempo run on the treadmill. Okay, give yourself, you don't have to feel like you're doing any less of a workout on a treadmill. Okay, if you jump on one. Okay, it's much better. I've done it over the years. If it was 95 to 100 degrees out, I would jump on a treadmill and focus on doing my tempo run indoors and get a better, higher quality workout that would help me both physically as well as mentally, versus going out and running 30 seconds slower than my goal race pace or my goal planned pace that I was aiming at to run at during my tempo run outdoors in 95 to 100 degree heat. Okay, if it's snowing, if it's sleeting out, if it's icy out, and you want to focus on getting a better long run or a better tempo run in, jump on the treadmill. Okay, it's not any less of a workout. Okay, give yourself 0.5% or 1% incline, and you'll equal, especially 1%, you'll equal running outdoors. Okay, alternate your workouts, change up how you're doing things. Okay, jump in the deep end of a pool and do pool running. Let that water pressure without a flotation device on. That is an extremely difficult, highly anaerobic workout that will help you get in great shape as well. Okay, you can do long runs, you can do fartlek workouts, you can do tempo efforts, you can do intervals in the deep end of a pool. Okay, so consider doing that as well. So that's my answer, Matthew. I hope this makes sense for you in terms of this question of what heart rate zone should I be in. So I hope this video makes sense. I hope it's helpful for you all. Feel free to leave me a comment below this video. Like and share this video as well. I really appreciate that. It helps more athletes around the world see these videos. And definitely keep me posted on your progress. And if you're having any problems with your training, whether it's physiological or it's mental, let me know in the comment section below. I'll definitely respond back to you, and hopefully I can help you get to that next level in your training. So I wish you all the best, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.